Here we are, we're into the game for the first time. And one of the things that we're greeted with here is on the screen is F1 for help. Now this is quite key because even if you don't follow this tutorial the whole way, if you ever get stuck in the game, hitting F1 will greet you with this screen, which gives you access to our forums, our Steam forums, feedback site, and then down here we have tutorials written by players and our wiki, and then also the list of control bindings which you can flick through as well. So this is all here for you to look for help at any time, and this is always going to be there for you. So definitely remember F1 is for help. So we can just close this here, and we've appeared in our first world. And what we can do is we can use the WASD keys to move around, WASD, shall I say, and then the mouse to look around the world. So it's pretty standard controls here. Now, to change from first to third person, we can hit V. We can see our green engineer here. And some of the other kind of ground-based character controls, we've got C for crouch, space for jump, and shift for sprint. Now, we're going to talk a bit more about the actual suit controls here and like some of the key bindings related to that. So all the keys are actually noticeable on the HUD here to start with, and you can tab the HUD on and off by flicking through the modes. The first mode is like this with all the key bindings. You hit tab again, the key bindings disappear, and you hit tab again, and then you can completely remove the HUD there. So we bring it back up. We can see that J is for opening our helmet visor, and which I don't advise doing in space, by the way. Second is X for jetpack, and this comes with its own set of controls. So again, you can use WASD for moving around, but with the addition of space to ascend and C to descend, and also Q and E to roll. Now there's one other point to do with jetpack, and that is your dampeners. Now, your inertial dampeners will try and keep you in a stationary hover at all times. So right now, if I move forwards and take my hands off the controls, it would automatically come to a stop. But if I hit Z to turn off my dampeners, and now you can see in the bottom left, the hazard icon has gone red, we now will keep on drifting forever, basically. So this can sometimes be useful when trying to chase after a ship. And this is the kind of thing that I think you will discover as you play the game. But normally it's better to keep those dampeners on so you don't get lost out in space. Right then, so we'll come back down here, and then we can hit X again to turn off the jetpack. Because there's artificial gravity here on this platform, we do in fact drop. But if I was out here in space, I would just be there floating. And if I hadn't said already, guys, feel free to ask any questions. I will be keeping an eye on the chat in a second to actually see if there's any questions about new player questions, right? Or if you are not a new player, you might have some suggestions of things to help new players. Like maybe there were some issues that you had when you were playing the game for the first time and that you learned, which could have been saved if you had known the shortcuts earlier, right? So also on the toolbar, on the HUD, sorry, we've got O, which is our broadcasting. This basically transmits our position to other ships and other players, and it's normally best to keep that on. Maybe you want to turn that off if you want to stay stealthy. And finally on the left we have L for our headlights here, our helmet lights. Definitely useful when you go off the darker patches of the, maybe go mining inside tunnels and stuff. That's always useful. So I'm going to have a quick look at chat here to see if there's anything key I've missed here. Yes, also you can use dampeners off to save fuel, because of course if you're drifting forward now with a certain velocity, it means that there's no more thrust going into it, so you're not using any more fuel to carry on moving forward. Whereas if I had dampeners on, I'd have to hold down the W key to move forward, right? So it's a good point there. Saving fuel can also be good for having your dampeners off. You just check, okay. So to actually, I didn't actually mention this, but to change your distance from your character in third person, if you hold Alt, that will first allow you to move around your character. I've been doing it. And then you can use Alt and scroll wheel to actually zoom out further away from your character. And you can see I can zoom out quite far to see this entire platform and the ship attached to it. So there we go. And also hitting V twice will reset your camera orientation back to the kind of standard position, but it won't reset the zoom.